AAA games are imploding, and a reckoning is coming. Hollow Knight's Silksong released September 4th, 2025, and it has already caused an uproar in the gaming community. I'm sure you're wondering how an indie title whose predecessor's budget was a modest $42,000, while the sequel, Silksong, is being sold for $20. Surely its budget has followed the same trend, but therein lies the problem. As I was making my weekly rounds through my favorite forums, I came across a post from Misery Guts 1969. Misery Guts. Anywho, he was basically reiterating a take from Veteran Joystick here on YouTube. Please check out his videos and drop him a like. The post reads as follows. What, with Silksong and its dev team of 3 to 4, and the likes of Claire Obscure, another meager dev team absolutely killing sales on all platforms, it makes you think, what the hell are all the AAA dev teams actually spending our money on? I know there's wages to pay and outsources to compensate, but when you take a good long look at it, what are we actually getting with AAA games now? Remasters, remakes, old ideas with a fresh coat of paint. Where's the real innovation, the things that make you sit up and say, I gotta play that? With games like Lies of P and its fresh take on an 1883 Italian children's novel, it gave us a Souls-like that we couldn't help but love. Hades, a game focusing on the god of the underworld's son, Zagreus. Although death is inevitable, your will to carry on and level up made its story that much more compelling. Claire Obscure Expedition 33, a game that has no equal, was made by a small studio, and we can all admit it's the best game in years.
Yeah, it's lit!
Although I do agree with the article's premise, however, the AAA game developers do have a place in the gaming industry. If those games never existed, we wouldn't have games like Elden Rings, Cyberpunk, Grand Theft Auto, or Black Myth Wukong. One thing we do know for sure is the gaming landscape would be tremendously different if those games never existed. Let's take Redfall for example. A game that failed in such a spectacular fashion had to alert other developers that pervasive bugs, poor technical performance, underwhelming AI, lackluster missions and world designs wouldn't be tolerated. While development probably cost between 80 to 150 million, this would of course be overlooked if the game was successful. Don't believe me? Let's look at Cyberpunk 2077. The development likely cost a few $100 million for the base game, and we all know it was a clusterfuck at launch. Since the developers were able to right the ship, we often overlook this prominent fact. God damn, this was bad. Now, let's imagine if there were no big budget movies. Stay with me, I promise I'll land this plane. Would that then mean that all small budget movies would automatically be good and the theaters would be saved? Absolutely not. I think it could have the opposite effect. Some people, no matter what field they're working in, use their aspirations to propel them to success. If there were only small budget movies to aspire to, some of our favorite actors wouldn't be actors. So the pool of available actors wouldn't be as big as the current pool of actors with big budget movies. You would only have the pool of actors who do it because they love to act. But some actors have other motivations, and that's not a bad thing. What motivates is motivation. Silksong is an anomaly, and I think the small development team works remarkably well for Team Cherry. However, can anyone tell me without a shadow of doubt that Team Cherry would stay that size for the remainder of their careers with no aspiration of building an empire? No, you cannot. You can't tell me what's in someone's heart. Now, with all that being said, the general consensus is that AAA games are hard and the money is being spent recklessly. While this may be true in some cases, could it be just plain old incompetence? maybe it's the standard blueprint of game development in its entirety. Take the 80-20 principle. This suggests that 20% of the features in a game should give the player 80% of the total enjoyment of the entire game. To me, this seems lazy. Shouldn't they shoot for 100% of the features in the game give you a 100% enjoyment? Although I haven't put in many hours into Silksong, it's definitely showing me that it isn't following the 80-20 rule. So I would have to say, if the AAA gaming segment is going to implode, hopefully we can take an honest look at why it failed in the first place. In my honest opinion, I think it's a lack of direction and management. Nope, it's not time. We've shown developers time and time again, no pun intended, that if they need time to complete and finalize their vision, we the consumers understand and would rather have a completed project. Now, this doesn't shield a developer from ridicule. If it's trash, it's trash. So, do you think AAA games are the problem? Or maybe you see other faults in the industry? Would you sacrifice some of the great AAA games for a potentially great indie or AA title? Sound off in the comments below and let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and ninja kick that notification bell for more videos like this. But more importantly, remember, keep moving forward and game on.